This is something I've been meaning to do for quite some time, and rather embarrassed that I haven't gotten to it until this point. But, well, it is what it is. So, what I'm talking about is to review the Daily Wire films. Now, Daily Wire produces a lot of shows, their podcasts and whatnot, and it's all within the political arena and news and whatnot. And then, of course, they have these documentaries. Some of them are these short documentaries and stuff, but the most recent one that got a lot of noise was What is a Woman? But that's still within the realm of political discussion, more or less. I mean, there's a lot more to it. I have seen the film, and I do recommend it. But it's more in that area, you know, in this case, the issue of transgenderism and all that sort of stuff. But for a film that's meant to be an entertainment vehicle, that's what I was wanting to get to. And of course, most famously, their whole endeavor erupted over Gina Carano getting fired and then smeared by Disney from The Mandalorian. And then not long after that, Daily Wire reached out to her and they came together. They want to do this film, which is upon us very soon, Terror on the Prairie, this Western that she's produced and starred in. So there's three other films actually that they've already done. The first one was a film that had already been produced. It's just Daily Wire became the distributor of it, which was the school shooting story. I have not seen that one. It's the first one they did, so I should have done that one, watched it, and then do a review on that. And then the other, the superhero one, the Hyperions, I have not seen that either. You would think, being a superhero fan, I would. But instead, I went with this horror movie they did called Shut In. And that's the first one I watched. And that's the first one I will do for this video on Shut In. And so it is a horror movie, but it's it's set in the real world. There's no supernatural elements other than you can argue God plays a role in this. Well, a lot of times when you have these films that are produced by conservatives or certainly Christian-oriented productions and what have you, why do they come across rather cheesy? And this is something the Daily Wire is very much aware of. So, probably the best of any kind of Christian movies or what have you are just adaptations of the Bible, Jesus movies and Moses and stuff like that. These sort of after-school special, you're gonna learn a little lesson about life. I mean, it's not to argue with the message; it's perfectly fine, but it's just the presentation and the delivery often falls flat and doesn't usually work very well. Here, you could argue there's a message there, but it's rather subtle and slight. The bulk of the movie is this terror situation that this woman finds herself in. So she's a recovering drug addict. She has 2 kids. She's either separated or divorced. I don't know if they even spelled that out, but the father is not really in the picture. He's still heavily into drugs and whatnot. Primarily, it's crystal meth that they appear to all be hooked on. And but she's clean. She's been through programs and whatnot, and she's on the right path. She's getting her act together. And this house that she's in is a property that she inherited from an aunt, I believe, who ended up having to take care of her, and the mother was not in the picture and this sort of thing. So, she's had a tough road already, just out of her own childhood, and she's trying, for the sake of her children, to get her act together. The upshot of the plot is there is this room that has a door that doesn't work right, and if you don't keep it open and it shuts on you, you're stuck in this little closet area, and so that's it. She gets stuck in it. Her actual ex-husband, boyfriend, what have you, finds her in it, lets her out, but they have an argument, and he ends up shoving her in there and shutting the door on her, figuring he's going to teach her a lesson or whatever, and just leaves her there. So that's the bulk of the movie. She's stuck in there. Her kids are running around. No one's taking care of them. And he has, her ex-husband, boyfriend, has this buddy who is the real evil, horrific one of this, and has a very perverse interest in children. So, of course, that's the scary, frightening thing. She's trapped in this room. He's taunting her with the kids, and she's terrified, and she can't save her child, and this sort of thing. But she turns the tables on him, and I'm not going to go all into the details because it spoils the film, but she gets the guy pretty good. And all that. And up to that point, it's pretty good. It's well performed. The characters are credible in their presentation there as to what their motives are and everything, and it all works out. Even up to the point, there's almost a scene where the father is redeemed, but yeah, he's a drug addict and everything, and so it goes kind of nuts after that. And once she escapes and she defeats this evil bastard, I kind of thought that should have just been the ending of the film. The rest of it kind of drags it out where the father goes wrong. And he's a drug addict, so it's not like that's not a problem that he would do that. I don't know. I just felt it kind of fizzled at that point. It doesn't totally derail the movie in that, but because a lot of it is very good. It's a simple thing. It all takes place in this house and everything, yet it's very well shot, and all those aspects to it. But I don't know. It almost got to the point of silliness as to how over the top the guy was, even in the considering that the father is his addict and everything, and that's all he ever cares about. And despite what had just happened, I thought it kind of it ruined the believability of where it would end up like that. So it's a pretty bad flaw. I don't think it completely derails it. I mean, and it could be just a subjective thing. That'd be no. I totally buy that. It would go there despite what just happened. And of course, he's so messed up, desperate for meth and everything. And of course, that ends up being it does him in as well, as she outfoxes him, and you have to. You just have to accept that his brain's so fried from the drugs and whatnot, he didn't see that coming as to how she did him in, and then escapes with the kids and all that. So it's a very a good effort, and there's a lot of good things in it. It's just it kind of falls flat at the end, in my opinion. It's too bad because it's really good, and most of it, and just the horror elements as well, is well done. So I will endeavor to watch more, of course, and we'll get back to that on that. But so as for my first look at what they produced as purely an entertainment film, it's a very impressive effort in that aspect. So perhaps the other films will do better overall as a complete package rather than this one, which I don't think did completely. But, I've enjoyed films that I thought were flawed, but I enjoyed them anyway, and I guess this is another one. So, as for the religious aspects, there isn't a moment where she's reading the Bible and this sort of thing, and actually that's a plot point for something else, but still, you could argue. He says, "Oh, the hand of God is at work here somewhere," and but that's about it. There's no, there's no totally over the top come to Jesus moment for her or anything like that. But it's there. But it's fine. you know, and it works within the narrative for the story. It's just, maybe I'm just being unfair to it. It's just how it ends without saying what it is about what happens with the father and all that. Yeah, I just was getting this. I've seen far worse that do 180s and it's just absolutely insane. It's not that. It just kind of spoiled what, up to that point, they had this great, credible narrative going, and it was all very good. And then this thing kind of, I maybe should have just stopped it there. The police show up and it's over, you know, roll the credits. But, you know, anyway, there we go. Shut In, available at dailywire.com.